Every November, America celebrates a ritual of chaos. Doors crash open, alarms blare, and crowds surge, not for freedom, but for 50% off. By midnight, some will leave with flat screens. Others will leave in handcuffs. The sale that sparked a riot. It started like any other Black Friday, fluorescent lights humming, parking lots packed, and tempers simmering under the artificial calm of corporate cheer. At 4 a.m., in a Tallahassee Walmart in 2012, security cameras caught a line of hundreds stretching into the fog. The deal everyone wanted was a $49 smartphone, half its usual price. When the doors slid open, the stampede looked more like a prison break than a shopping event. Shoes squealed on linoleum, carts collided, and within seconds, someone screamed. According to police reports, a man in his mid-30s lunged for the last phone on a display table. Another shopper grabbed it first. The punch that followed split a lip and triggered a domino of chaos, boxes flying, children crying, and 2 security guards diving into the melee. Officers stationed outside rushed in, bodycams recording the madness. The suspect, later identified in court filings as a local mechanic named DS, resisted arrest, shouting that he'd been robbed by the store. In less than 5 minutes, the promotion became a crime scene. Blood on the floor, one shopper detained, another treated for minor injuries, and a store manager trying to explain to reporters how a sale turned into a brawl. News outlets across Florida replayed the footage for days. Commentators compared the frenzy to a mini riot. According to the Tallahassee Police Department's official release, 8 people were detained that morning, mostly for disorderly conduct and assault. No fatalities, but the footage went viral within hours, shared with captions like, "Black Friday Madness." Behind the memes was something darker, a reflection of how mass consumer culture feeds on adrenaline and scarcity. Sociologists from the University of Florida later cited the case in a 2013 study about retail aggression, noting that impulse control drops sharply when people perceive a limited resource. Police interviews confirmed the same pattern. People said they didn't remember hitting anyone, only that everyone was pushing. By noon, DS sat in a holding cell, his knuckles scraped, still wearing a Santa hat. He'd never been arrested before. The booking report described him as agitated, remorseful, cooperative after restraint. He told officers he'd been waiting all year for that phone for his teenage son. It was supposed to be a Christmas gift, he said. Across the country, similar incidents unfolded. In San Antonio, a woman pulled a taser in a clothing store fight over discounted jeans, confirmed by local ABC News footage. In Los Angeles, a man was hospitalized after being pepper-sprayed by another shopper attempting to clear a path through the crowd. According to reports, she later claimed she acted in self-defense. By 2013, law enforcement agencies began deploying special Black Friday response units. According to retail crime analysts, average arrests on Black Friday exceeded 500 nationwide each year, ranging from shoplifting to aggravated assault. Many of those detained had no prior criminal record. What drove ordinary people to violence over retail goods? Psychologists call it competitive arousal. In plain terms, it's the same primal rush triggered in sports riots or road rage, except here, it's in fluorescent aisles, under holiday jingles. Footage from the Tallahassee incident shows a surreal image, police cuffing DS as Christmas music plays faintly overhead. An officer's bodycam captured the moment he muttered, "It's not worth it," just before being led outside. That clip ended up on every major news channel by evening. Yet, buried beneath the headlines was a second story, a quieter one about how these confrontations keep repeating. Each Black Friday, companies advertise scarcity, and shoppers brace for combat. The Tallahassee case wasn't unique, it was a template. Court filings show DS pleaded no contest to misdemeanor battery. The judge ordered a $250 fine and anger management classes. Reporters tried to interview him afterward, he declined, saying only, "I don't want to be that guy again." In the years that followed, Black Friday became synonymous with both profit and peril. Security consultants warned stores to double their staff. Cities like Chicago and Denver even began stationing police vans outside major malls, in anticipation of disturbances, according to public safety briefings. As footage of fights continued surfacing online, an uncomfortable truth emerged: Black Friday wasn't merely a shopping day, it was an annual test of how thin the line between consumer and criminal could be. The day America went to war with itself. By the time morning sunlight hit the parking lots, the news cycle had already christened it Black Friday chaos. Across the U.S., the same phrase headlined every outlet, from CNN to local morning radio. Anchors joked about shopper melees, but behind the humor was exhaustion. For police departments, this wasn't funny anymore, it was predictable. Every Thanksgiving night, departments across the country activate what's unofficially known as Operation Doorbuster. It's not a marketing term, it's a law enforcement protocol. Officers are briefed, squad cars repositioned, holding cells cleared. Because in America, the day after gratitude comes greed, and it's their busiest unofficial holiday. The pattern behind the mayhem. According to a 2015 report by the National Retail Federation, more than 135 million people flood stores on Black Friday weekend. Economists call it pent-up demand. Psychologists call it social contagion. But police call it crowd threat level 3. The Tallahassee Brawl from Chapter 1 wasn't an isolated story, it was a snapshot of a nationwide epidemic. That same year, in Los Angeles, a woman at a Walmart used pepper spray on 20 fellow shoppers to secure an Xbox 360 console. LAPD confirmed that 10 people required medical treatment, and the footage was so shocking that even foreign outlets like BBC News picked it up. She later surrendered, claiming she acted in panic. In Oregon, another case, verified by court records, involved 2 men tackling a store manager after the last flat-screen TV sold out. One of them was an off-duty firefighter. In New Jersey, a man died after being trampled outside a Target in 2013. According to local reports, he had lined up at 9 p.m. the night before. Witnesses said the crowd just moved as one body. No one was charged, investigators ruled it a crowd crush accident. But the haunting image of an empty shopping cart surrounded by yellow tape stayed in news rotation for days. Across social media, videos of Black Friday fights became a genre of their own. Compilation channels turned real violence into viral entertainment, hundreds of millions of views in total. Experts from the American Psychological Association warned that this normalization of aggression during shopping seasons desensitized the public to the underlying issue, retail rage, a hybrid of economic stress and herd behavior. The anatomy of retail rage. To understand how Black Friday creates criminals out of ordinary people, investigators and criminologists began digging deeper. Dr. Philip Zimbardo, the same psychologist behind the infamous Stanford prison experiment, once theorized about de-individuation, when people in large groups lose their sense of personal responsibility. In other words, when hundreds rush toward a discount bin, they stop seeing individuals, they see obstacles. A shopper stepping in your way feels less like a person, more like competition. And once that switch flips, violence isn't a decision, it's a reflex. Police body cams from multiple states captured almost identical scenes. People shoving over televisions. Children crying under piles of coats. Security alarms drowned out by screams and jingles. In every clip, there's one constant: no one remembers how it started. Sociologist Dr. Michelle Workman, who authored Consumer Chaos, The Psychology of Retail Violence, told reporters in 2017 that most Black Friday crimes share the same emotional signature: fear of loss. Not just losing a deal, but losing status, control, or the illusion of success. When prices drop and competition spikes, the primal brain takes over. In one documented case from Alabama, 2015, a group of shoppers brawled inside a mall over a PlayStation bundle. By the time police arrived, 3 people were bleeding, one had a broken wrist, and the mall's glass door was shattered. The report listed mutual combatants. No one pressed charges. But video evidence circulated online for years, titled Black Friday Gone Wrong. Inside the command centers. What most people don't realize is that by 2014, major police departments were running Black Friday-like counter-riot operations. According to law enforcement training documents reviewed by reporters, cities like Dallas, Chicago, and Miami-Dade began coordinating with mall security weeks in advance. Temporary holding zones were set up near commercial districts. Officers were stationed in plain clothes. Drone surveillance was even tested in certain areas to monitor crowd flow. One Miami officer later told the Herald that it was like patrolling a war zone made of shopping carts. In some states, the problem wasn't just the physical fights, it was the shoplifting surge. According to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reports, retail theft spikes by nearly 30% during the Black Friday weekend. Organized shoplifting crews, known as boosting rings, use the chaos to slip past security. These aren't desperate individuals. They're coordinated networks reselling stolen goods online. One major bust in Chicago in 2018, reported by CBS News, exposed a crew of 5 who stole over $20,000 worth of electronics from various stores within hours. They used distraction techniques. One person caused a commotion while others cleared shelves. When police arrested them, they found maps of store layouts and encrypted messaging apps used for coordination. Corporate denial and the cost of silence. Despite the rising violence, retailers rarely admit fault. Executives argue that isolated incidents shouldn't tarnish the biggest sales weekend of the year. But behind closed doors, internal memos, later leaked to journalists, revealed mounting concern. A leaked 2016 Walmart security brief warned staff to avoid engaging physically with aggressive shoppers unless absolutely necessary. Target's own incident review that same year logged over 400 cases of verbal or physical altercations across U.S. stores. Publicly, these companies downplayed it. Privately, they hired crisis consultants. According to insurance analysts, Black Friday damages cost U.S. retailers over $80 million annually, including injuries, lawsuits, and property loss. But beyond economics, something cultural had shifted. Once upon a time, post-Thanksgiving shopping symbolized the start of holiday joy. By the late 2010s, it symbolized the edge of civility. When the arrests begin. By mid-afternoon every Black Friday, police scanners hum with predictable rhythm. Unit 23, responding to altercation at Macy's. Shoplifter in custody, juvenile female. Fight in electronics, 2 down. Jails near large malls often prepare in advance, adding extra staff. In interviews, officers described the exhaustion of processing endless reports, from petty theft to full-blown assaults. Sergeant Angela Ruiz, a veteran officer in Houston, told the Chronicle in 2020. You see people come in wearing reindeer sweaters and leave in handcuffs. They're shocked. They always say the same thing, I don't know what came over me. In her 18 years on the force, she said, no other day generates as many, otherwise normal citizens, committing crimes in a single shift. Black Friday behind bars. Inside holding cells, the atmosphere is surreal. Cuffed shoppers, still wearing Santa hats, glitter, or pajamas, sit side by side, their bags tagged as evidence. Officers fill out arrest logs while TV screens in the background run Black Friday commercials on repeat. Court records from multiple counties reveal that most offenders are first-timers, booked for misdemeanors like battery or disorderly conduct. Many plead no contest within days and pay fines between $100 and $500. A few, especially those caught stealing or assaulting officers, face felony charges. In 2019, one case in Nevada made headlines when a man shoved a store clerk during a dispute over a discounted air fryer. He was charged with assault with intent to cause bodily harm, a felony. The judge, in sentencing, said, "You fought over an appliance. Consider what that says about our priorities as a society." The clip went viral, not because of the crime, but because of the irony. The man's family had waited outside the courtroom holding a sign that read, "Free Dad, it was just a deal." From local incidents to global symbol. By 2021, Black Friday's reputation had gone global. Footage from Europe showed similar chaos, shoppers in the UK, France, and Germany fighting over electronics. In London, police broke up a midnight brawl in a Tesco supermarket after reports of crowd surge injuries. In Paris, a viral video showed customers climbing over counters for discounted laptops. The BBC described it as imported hysteria. Sociologists warned that the behavior was not uniquely American anymore, it was a symptom of global consumer conditioning. The thrill of scarcity had become universal. And yet, there's another side to this story, one that doesn't make headlines. For every viral fight, there are quiet moments of regret. Former detainees interviewed years later often described the experience as humiliating, not thrilling. One said, "It wasn't about the TV. It was about the feeling that I had to win." The turning point. In 2022, something changed. After years of public criticism and online shaming, several major chains, including REI and Patagonia, boycotted Black Friday entirely, closing their doors and encouraging employees to spend the day outdoors. Other retailers shifted online, reducing in-store chaos. The result? According to Reuters, physical Black Friday arrests dropped by nearly 40% in 2023 compared to pre-pandemic years. But experts warn that the underlying psychology hasn't disappeared, it's just moved to digital spaces. Now, online shoppers fight with bots, scams, and website crashes instead of fists. The battlefield has changed. The behavior hasn't. What the data reveals. Average in-store arrest rate, US 500 to 700 annually during Black Friday weekend. Most common offenses: assault, theft, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. 73% of offenders had no previous criminal record. 82% cited frustration or fear of missing out as the reason for escalation, according to post-arrest interviews reviewed in 2020 criminology reports. These statistics paint a disturbing picture: a day built on gratitude ending in aggression. Sociologists call it ritualized chaos. Economists call it consumer enthusiasm. But law enforcement? They call it the annual riot with a receipt. The bigger picture. When viewed from afar, the pattern reveals more than just violence, it exposes a deep social contradiction. Black Friday is marketed as family bonding, yet it fractures communities. It promises abundance, yet it thrives on scarcity. And every year, hundreds of ordinary people cross the invisible line between shopper and suspect. For some, like DS from Tallahassee, it's a single impulsive act that forever changes how they see themselves. For others, it's a tradition, a yearly adrenaline rush that they rationalize as just part of the fun. But when police sirens replace Christmas music and retail floors turn into battlegrounds, the question becomes unavoidable. How far will we go to own what we think we deserve? Every Thanksgiving, Americans sit around tables praying for blessings. Hours later, some fight for televisions made overseas, in factories they'll never see, to impress people who will forget by January. That's not just irony, it's tragedy. And for the hundreds who end the night behind bars, one truth echoes louder than any holiday carol. Freedom isn't on sale. This story is a dramatized adaptation inspired by real events. Some names, places, and details have been changed for privacy.